I found out my neighbor changed his Wi-Fi name to 1744. Your wife is cheating on you. 1744 is my house number. At first, I thought it was just a joke or some kind of provocation. But the next day, he came over to talk to me. He said that every morning, right after I left for work, a black Nissan parked a few houses down. The driver would get out, walk around the side of my house, and go in through the back. I wanted to believe it was a lie, but the way he described everything, it was impossible to ignore. Still, when I tried to figure out what was really going on, I realized nothing was what it seemed. The neighbor wasn't just some nosy guy, and my wife's affair was only the beginning of something much bigger. When I first saw the Wi-Fi name, 1744, your wife is cheating on you, I laughed. I thought maybe one of the neighbors was messing around. My house number is 1744, and the guy across the street, Jeff, had a weird sense of humor. He once renamed his Wi-Fi to FBI surveillance van just to freak out the teenagers next door. But this time, it felt different. The name wasn't funny. It felt targeted. That night, I asked my wife, Emily, if she'd noticed anything strange. She looked up from her phone, confused, and said no. Her face didn't change, not even a blink. I wanted to believe her. We'd been married 9 years. I trusted her more than anyone. The next morning, as I was leaving for work, Jeff waved me over. He had that serious look, like someone who'd rehearsed what he was about to say. I need to tell you something, he said quietly. Every morning, after you leave, a car parks a few houses down. Black Nissan. Same one every day. The driver walks around your house and goes in through the back gate. I just stared at him. You sure it's my house? Positive, he said. I even took a picture. He showed me a blurry phone photo, but I recognized the backyard fence. My backyard fence. All day at work, I couldn't focus. Every time my phone buzzed, I thought it was going to be a message from Jeff with another photo. I didn't tell Emily. I wanted to see for myself. That night, I left my car down the block and walked home. The house lights were on. Inside, I could hear the faint sound of music. Emily's playlist. I crept to the back fence and waited. At 7:42 p.m., a black Nissan turned onto the street. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. The car slowed near my house, headlights off. A man got out. Tall, dark jacket, baseball cap. He went straight to the gate and slipped inside like he'd done it 100 times. I was frozen. I couldn't move. Then I saw Emily open the door. She didn't look surprised. She didn't even check if anyone was around. She just let him in. I don't remember how long I stood there. My hands were shaking. I thought about walking in, about confronting them both right there, but something about the way she looked at him stopped me. It wasn't what I expected. She looked scared, not guilty, not romantic. Scared. That night, I didn't go inside. I drove to a motel on the edge of town and didn't sleep at all. In the morning, I went back home like nothing happened. Emily was making breakfast. She smiled at me and asked if I'd slept well. I said yes, but I noticed something I hadn't seen before. A faint bruise on her wrist, and suddenly I wasn't sure who the real threat was anymore. That bruise on Emily's wrist wouldn't leave my head. It wasn't the kind of mark you get from bumping into something. It looked like someone had grabbed her too hard, fingers still visible. But I didn't say anything. I just watched her move around the kitchen, acting like everything was fine. When she reached for a mug, her sleeve slid up again, and I caught another one, higher up her arm. She noticed me looking and quickly pulled her sleeve down. Everything okay? I asked. Yeah, she said too quickly. Why wouldn't it be? I nodded, pretending to accept it, but my stomach twisted. The way she avoided my eyes, it wasn't guilt anymore. It was fear. That night, I messaged Jeff. That guy, the one in the black Nissan. Did you get his plate? He replied almost immediately. Yeah. I've got a few pictures. Want me to send them? When I opened the photo, I froze. The license plate was partially visible, but the car itself was familiar. Too familiar. I'd seen it once before, parked near my office. It belonged to a man named Ryan Holt. He used to work with Emily. 2 years ago, she mentioned him a few times. He's just a co-worker, she said. Kinda intense, but harmless. Then one day, she stopped talking about him completely. I never asked why. Now it all came flooding back. The next morning, I left for work like usual, but instead of driving to the office, I parked down the street and waited. I watched the clock. At 8:05 a.m., right on schedule, the black Nissan showed up, but something was off. The guy didn't park near the house this time. He parked in the alley, closer to Jeff's backyard. Then to my surprise, Jeff walked up to the car. They talked for a long time. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I saw Jeff hand him something, a small envelope. The guy nodded, got back in his car, and drove off. What the hell was going on? That night, I confronted Jeff. I didn't tell him I'd seen him with the man. I just asked why he was so sure about what he told me. His answers were vague, too rehearsed. He said he just wanted to help a neighbor. Then he said something strange. Maybe you should check your security cameras. You'll see more than you think. I told him I didn't have cameras, and he knew that. He just smiled. When I got home, I couldn't shake his words. So I started looking. Every corner, every angle of the house, and behind the old shed I found it. A small black camera, half hidden under the eaves. Someone had been watching us. I pulled it down and plugged it into my laptop. The footage started automatically. At first it was normal. Emily gardening, me mowing the lawn, but then I saw him. The man from the black Nissan, not sneaking around, not breaking in. He was standing with Emily, handing her something, an envelope, just like the one Jeff gave him earlier, and her face wasn't scared this time. She looked furious. She pointed toward Jeff's house. The man turned his head and nodded. That's when I realized I'd been played. Whatever was going on between Jeff, Emily, and this Ryan guy, it wasn't an affair. It was something else, something I wasn't supposed to see, and Jeff's warning wasn't a warning at all. It was bait. That night, I didn't sleep. I replayed the footage over and over until the battery on my laptop died. Every time I saw Emily's expression, it hit me differently. She wasn't scared of the man. She was scared for something, or someone. By morning, I decided to act like nothing had changed. Emily was in the kitchen again, scrolling through her phone, hair still messy from sleep. I kissed her on the head and said I'd be home late from work. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Instead of going to the office, I drove to Jeff's house. His truck was gone, so I checked around. I wasn't sure what I was looking for, but my gut told me the camera behind my shed wasn't the only one. It took me 15 minutes to find another one, hidden behind the fence between our yards, aimed directly at our back door. That was enough. When Jeff got home that afternoon, I was waiting for him in his driveway. He looked surprised, but not scared. And if you don't want to wait for part 2, you can watch the full story on my YouTube channel. Just click share, then more, and then click the YouTube link here on my profile or search for the channel Cooper Reddit on YouTube.